Forget about Pakistan for a while. You are on King Street, Newtown, Sydney, and here you don't see the moon-swallowing powdered horse shit in the smoke of two-stroke auto rickshaws that choke the sky above Lahore. You take off your watch and hold it across your right palm. It is an ersatz digital with its logo already peeled off. So far, you have only had to change the battery once. Tells accurate time, 11:57:19 p.m. In 2 minutes and 41 seconds, the date will change, and with it also your legal status in Australia. Although becoming illegal is not trivial, it is not too big a deal. How many amigos in America are legal? No, but you risk being dubbed as a terrorist. But why you? Because of the place of your birth. It is not your fault if you look at it objectively. The most important things took place when you had no control, when you did not exist, when you did not have a self, when you were in the veins of your father and mother. You did not have a choice when he pushed some sperm cells out of his urethra and deposited them in her uterus. A random accident, the collision of one spermatozoon and an ovum, catapulted you into being. And things got worse when you could not choose your place of birth, your parents and their worldviews, your language, your neighbors, your street, your town, or your country. Yes, you never chose to be born in that Krapistan. Yes, the birth of a human is a brutal event, totally devoid of the consent of the self that is going to have to live with the consequences. Saeed Ur-Rehman, The Sharpness of Grass Blades.
Saeed Ur-Rehman is a Pakistani scholar and author who writes on his own and others' experiences with borders. Borders are lines and walls and fences and guns, physical or ideological, that separate us from one another. Separate peoples who are meant to know one another, to teach one another.
They're also going to secure our border.
We have to remember, we have to have borders if we're going to be a country.
On day one, we will begin working on an impenetrable, physical, tall, powerful, beautiful southern border wall.
And while these borders separate us, the true stories of the effects of walls and fences go untold. Borders go unchallenged by those who relay the official story, and not the real stories of human lives.
We are going to stop the Syrian refugees from entering the United States.
It's time to put America first.
We're going to have to profile. We're going to have to start profiling.
We cannot have these people come into the United States.
By allowing illegals to come in and cause harm and in many cases death to our residents, we need to do something about that.
We have some bad hombres here and we're going to get them out.
Fiction, however, can change that. Writers like Edwidge, Danticat, and Saeed Ur-Rehman tell fictional stories based on true experience, and their words are powerful.
I would just look in awe, up at adults telling stories. My grandmothers, my aunts, and other people in the neighborhood where I lived, I would be in awe of their storytelling because they seem so powerful and transcendent in that moment, even though they were considered powerless in their lives because they were poor and they were not necessarily readers and not powerful people in the society, but just powerful people with the word.
Edwidge Danticat is an acclaimed author and native Haitian. In her collection of stories entitled Crick Crack, she shares about the challenges that borders offer.
I used to read a lot about America before I had to study so much for the university exams. I am trying to think to see if I read anything more about Miami. It is sunny, it doesn't snow there like it does in other parts of America. I can't tell exactly how far we are from there. We might be barely out of our own shores. There are no border lines on the sea. The whole thing looks like one. I cannot even tell if we are about to drop off the face of the earth. Maybe the world is flat and we are going to find out like the navigators of old.
Through writing these stories, Danticat helps us cross into others' lives and experience the other side of the borders that separate us.
The roads to the city were covered with sharp pebbles, only half buried in the thick dust. I chose to go barefoot, as my mother had always done on her visits to the Massacre River, the river separating Haiti from the Spanish-speaking country that she had never allowed me to name, because I had been born on the night that El Generalissimo Dios Trujillo, the Honorable Chief of State, had ordered the massacre of all Haitians living there.
Even with physical borders, literature has the power to cross boundaries that separate us by sharing the real story. In an interview with Hope College's Advanced Creative Writing Fiction class, Saeed Ur-Rehman told the story of taking some of his students to the Pakistani-Indian border. One student watched a few crows fly easily over the border between the two countries and commented on how they had so much freedom. In our world of walls and lines that divide us, literature is like the crows. In literature, we find the freedom to cross borders and connect with those around us through real, raw, beautiful stories.
Immigrants, we get the job done. Look how far I come. Look how far I come. Look how far I come. We get the job done. Look how far I come. Look how far I come. Look how far I come. Immigrants, we get the job done.